All right, so we're going to solve a simpler problem. Before we get started, we're going to do a couple warm-up problems. Our first one says, our problem of the day says white light bulbs are sold in packages of 9. Yellow light bulbs are sold in packages of 12. Find the least number of light bulbs of each color Rosario must buy to have the same number of white and yellow light bulbs. Explain. So, you guys have done this before. When you add and subtract fractions, when you found the common denominator, it's called the least common multiple. So you need to find the least common multiple of 9 and 12. So, work on this at your desks. So we're going to find the least common multiple, or the LCM. Okay? Of 9 and 12. So, the simplest way, or I should say the most basic way to do this, is just to go 9, 18, 12, 24, 18, that's 27, 24, 36, 9 more, 36. So now the least amount of light bulbs that she can buy and have the same color of each is 36. Now there's other ways that we can do this though. We can create a factor tree. How many of you have done a factor tree before? So we can do it like this, 9 and 12. 3, 4, 2, 2. So we prime factorize. Now both those numbers, that's a prime factorization of each number, right? So now what we do is we write out the multiplication problem. I have a 3 here and a 3 here. This is the only common number. So those two 3's are going to equal a single 3 when I create my new problem. Then I bring all the other numbers down. So 3 times 3 is
9
times 2
18
times 2 okay. So you can do it by writing out the factors like I did on the other page, or you can do it like this to where you prime factor them and you take the common numbers, only use the common numbers once and go from there. Okay? So there you go. You do a division problem now, or 2 I should say. I want you to divide these 2, check for reasonableness. Okay, so your classmates came up and did these 2 problems for us. We have 1,250. And we have 315, remainder 20. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about those 2? Yes. 316, remainder 10. So 3, that's 72. 38, that's 1, 24, 14, 140, 5, that's 120, that's, I'm getting what she got. Yes?
I thought the 316 minus 10 was like 80 because I use multiplication too, because I put 24 times this to try equaling.
Alright, well hold on a second. So, 3 times 4 is 12, right?
Yeah.
2, carry the 1. 6, that's 7. When I subtract it, I get 3. I bring down my 8, 38. I can only put 24 into it, so that's 1. There's my 24. I subtract 8 minus 4 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. Oh. You're both not right. Now I have 145.
No, but you can put 6.
Stop. So that's 6. Yes. And this is why we show our work. So it is 6. And 6, that's going to be 144. Okay? So when I subtract 145 from 144, I get 1, correct? Now I bring down the 0. 24 cannot go into 10, so I need a 0. So it's 3,160, remainder 10. Not 316 remainder. Okay? So there it is. I'm not sure why that's at 23,000, but there you go. Okay, Miguel earns $50 a week. He spends $10 each week. So he makes $50. He spends $10, and he saves the remaining amount. He wants $300, and we want to know how many weeks it will take for him to get it. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go through and figure out what we already know. What we already know is that Miguel earns $50 a week, but he spends $10 of it. What I need to find out is how long it will take for Miguel to save $300. Now, we can solve this by solving a simpler problem. What's our simpler problem going to be? Yes? We're going to subtract this from this to find out how much he saves in a week, and then we can figure out how many weeks it's going to take him to save the $300. Okay? So, 50 subtract 10, or $40. Okay? Now, once we know that there's 40, we can divide 40 by 300. Okay? I like to get rid of the zeros because it makes the math simpler. 4 goes into 37 times with the remainder of 2. Okay? Now, this right here, the remainder. Is there a way that I can have 7 weeks with the remainder of 20?
No.
Why not? No, it's not that 7 doesn't go into 20. It says more than 300, right?
Yeah.
Well, 7 weeks, he's only going to save $280. So he needs 20 more dollars. So how many weeks is it going to take him to save more than 300? 8 weeks. Because 8 times 40, well, we'll get to that in a second. So 8 weeks, okay? Because 40 times 8 equals 320, and 320 is greater than 300. Okay? The remainder, sometimes we have to just increase the amount for the quotient. Okay? So you need to pay attention because that's what happened with Aiden's 25 pages that we talked about from last night's homework. Yes, Aiden was correct. It was only 24 pages with the remainder of 4. But the last 4 pictures have to go on a page. So therefore, we have to increase the quotient to 25 in order to fit all the pictures. Okay? So here we go. We're going to start doing our own right here. We're going to read our question. We're going to start looking for the facts that we know. We'll use our highlighter. It says, Melissa estimates that she watched 104 movies over the past year. On average, about how many movies did she watch per month? So we know that there's 104 movies. And we want to know how many movies per month. Now, they want us to use weeks. They gave us a hint. Okay? When I first read this, I started thinking, okay, well, there's 12 months in a year. Right? And my first question when I wrote it out, I was like, 104, I'm going to divide 104 by 12. Well, that's a difficult problem. So now I get rid of that, and I say, okay, I'm going to use 52. So what facts do we know? We know that she watched 104 movies. And we know that she did this in 1 year, which is what?
52 weeks.
52 weeks. So, now what do we need to find? We need to find out per month. So our plan is what would be the easiest thing to figure out right now? What can I figure out fairly simply? How many movies can I figure out that she watched per what? Pretty easily right now.
Per week.
I can figure out per week pretty easily. So my plan is going to find per week. And then, how many weeks are there in a month?
52. No, 4.
In a month?
4 or 5.
There's an average of 4 weeks per month. Average. So we're going to go per week, and then we're going to multiply that by 4 weeks, which will equal our month. Well, I shouldn't say equal. It'll be about. Remember our little wavy equal sign? About. Okay? It's not going to give us exactly how many she watched in a month, but it'll give us about how many she watched in a month. Okay? Okay, now we're moving on. I gave you guys plenty of time. Okay, now we're going to solve it. Okay, so we're going to go 104 divided by 52. Okay. Once we solve this, we're going to take the answer from there and we're going to multiply that by 4. Just like we said, okay? So how many times does 52 go into 104? 2 times. 2 movies per week. So 2 times 4 equals, so 8 movies a month. And this is about. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check. We're going to check our answer. In order to check our answer, we need to know if our answer is reasonable. Well, we said that she watched 8 movies a month, right? So 8 times 12 equals 96. Now, we want to know, is 96 about 104?
Yeah.
It's pretty close, right? So since 96 is about 104, this is very reasonable. So yes, it is reasonable. All right, moving on. All right. So we have 15 minutes. We're going to work on these problems today in class to apply the strategy. Your homework for tonight is 285 and 286, 1 through 10, I believe. The answers will be on our YouTube page. If you need to check them out, remember you need to show your work. Right now what we're going to do is, you guys are going to work on number 1. One of you will come up and do the problem. And we'll do number 2, one of you can come up and do the problem. So, you have 15 minutes and we're going to work on this in class. When you're done with number 1, if you'd like to come do it on the board, just raise your hand. I'm going to pause our recording. After the problem is done, I'll start the recording back up and we'll go to the next page. Alright? Alright. So X comes up, and X did a very good job of breaking this into 2 simpler problems. So he took our information that we had, and he said the first thing he needs to figure out is this. In 7 hours, it went that far. How far did it travel per hour? He divided it. He got 520 miles. Okay? So 520 miles. Then he multiplied that by 4. So 520 times 4. Right? 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is
20.
So I think X went so fast that he didn't realize he added the last one on X. 4 plus 5 is 9 plus 1 is 10 instead of 5 times, yeah. I'm pretty sure he wrote his 5 sloppy enough to where he thought there was still a 1 over it. But anyways, that's what it's supposed to be, 2080. So when we move on, we will see. Number 2. Number 2 says Josh watches 720 television shows in 1 year. If he watches the same number of shows each month, how many shows does he watch in 5 months? I can tell you right now, Josh spends too much time watching TV, and he needs to spend some of his time doing his homework. Okay, so Drew, how many months are in a year, Drew? 12. So 720 in 1 year. You told 720 in 5 months. We should have started with this. Then 12 goes into 72 6 times. Twelve goes into 0 times. So they watched 60 in a month. Then we have to multiply that by the 5 months, which means we end up with 305 months. So 300 movies, 300 television shows in 5 months. Okay? Now, if the average month has 30 days in it, how many television shows is this person watching in a day? No, two.
No, two.
2 per day. That's actually not as many as I thought it was going to be when I was looking at this. Because if you watch a half an hour TV show, 2 per day, that's only an hour of TV. That's not bad. Alright. But, so just so we know, we didn't want to do this. Sorry, Drew.
It's okay.
Number 3, the football team is raising money to have a new turf field installed. The cost of the turf field is $48,780. The team has 18 months to raise the money. If they raise an equal amount each month, how much will they have to raise after 1 year? After 1 year. So they have 18 months. That's how much they need to raise. They're going to raise the same amount each month. So we're going to set it up. This is the first part of the problem. There is a second part of the problem that I will let you worry about. There's actually a second and a third part. So,
I never really liked you as an hour ago.